So again, hello everyone, and welcome to our final week of the Reinvention of Work course. And again, such an incredible joy to be with you all. I look forward to this all week long and was already starting to grieve the missing you in the future. I was saying to those of you who had joined the call a bit early that I'm already hoping that you will keep me posted on what comes next and as you are reinventing your work. And if I can be of support, please let me know. So we are going to go ahead. I want to start with our centering with this beginning of this prologue from Anamkara, bringing John O'Donohue back into our midst one more time. So I will read this beginning, this prologue, and then allow us some time in silence. And then I'll bring us back in. So it's strange to be here. The mystery never leaves you alone. Behind your image, below your words, above your thoughts, the silence of another world waits. No one else can bring you news of this inner world. Through the opening of the mouth, we bring out sounds from the mountain beneath the soul. The sounds are words. We take each other's sounds and make patterns, benedictions, and blasphemies. Each day, our tribe of language holds what we call the world together. Yet the uttering of the world reveals how each of us relentlessly creates. Everyone is an artist. Each person brings sound out of silence and coaxes the invisible to become visible. Blessed be. I like the sound that brought us back. Oh, well, we all know the group norms. Everyone has been here from week to week. I just place them here as a reminder. But I wanted to make sure that you had one last time together in reflection.
Okay.
You've been reading and writing and reflecting, and we had that amazing time with Matt Fox last week. And so I want to make sure that you are able to share what's been arising through those experiences and how you practiced again artist meditation over the past week or two, because we didn't reflect last week. And what are your reflections yielding? And so I am going to, as we do, bring you into breakout rooms. There we go. Okay. You are in breakout rooms. I'm going to move the two of you here. And one more. And we should be in great shape. So I will see you all back here in 15 minutes. And you're in groups of 3 and 4, which I hope gives everyone enough time to reflect. I look forward to seeing you in a bit and hearing hopefully what's been arising. See you all in 15, maybe make sure I've got it at 15 minutes for the time. Nope, there we go. I get good better at this. Yep, here we go. All right, see you in 15. There we go. So final week, moving into the Via Transformativa. You've been brainstorming in the Via Creativa. A myriad of ideas have come. We've been thinking about prototyping. We've been listening. We maybe have gotten overwhelmed, or at least I seem to always get overwhelmed in that Creativa stage. I could do this, I could do this, and all the details can overwhelm me. But we move into this place, we know this from human-centered design as well as creation spirituality, where it's time to act and try and just test. And action can be as simple as making a phone call. That can be part of a prototype, to trying something on in a new identity. I was teaching earlier this week, and someone was talking about how as she's getting more into running, is that she's taking on the identity, and her prototype is to just say, I am a runner, and say, what do runners do? And runners get up in the morning and go for a run. So again, prototyping can be just trying on an identity. We want to play here in this final stage, and again, knowing that it's honoring that it's a spiral, and that we can continue to continue on. I should be doing it this way, back in to the Via Positiva and Negativa and Creativa once more. But this is a time, again, of prototypes, and recognizing that we are part of an interconnected whole. We are part of the mystery, and we are also part of this living, breathing system. And so as we crowdsource, that can be an extraordinary place to effortlessly bring forward our vision in new ways. As we were talking earlier, before the class started, just noticing how we all might have pieces of the puzzle for one another. So I do invite us in this stage to find ways to share what you might be thinking about. And it doesn't have to be, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I'm going, because that can feel like a tender young plant that we don't want to be crushed. But if I have an experiment that I'm going to try, it's just an experiment, that can create opportunities for us to share and find others who may have done something similar and make it a little easier for us. This is part of listening to the mystery. I'm always amazed when I'm tuning myself to a new vision, how I'll overhear a conversation, or I'll be talking to just the right person that might have a clue that takes me to something else, that takes me to something else. But usually it's in a very unexpected way. We talked weeks ago about empowerment and the work of David Gershon and Gail Straub, and they would say that you want to hold on to the dream, but keep the form flexible. I want to bring that back forward again. So what is the dream? And then allowing the mystery to play in this dance and support it. And it's always fantastic to me to see how my prayers are answered in ways that, or visions are realized in ways that I would have never, ever expected. So that's the work of the Via Transformativa. It takes courage. It takes a willingness to be out on our growing edges and make mistakes, even though they're not mistakes, we're just trying something new. Coming back to human-centered design, As we said, when we've been practicing this, where we vision and figuring out what breaks our heart, what brings us alive, listening to where that potentially might want to take form, and then creating this minimally viable product or prototype. I think of the work that all of you are doing and how that looks. I want to again call out one of our friends with the School of the Swans and how that is growing and evolving, and it's the beauty of how it has gone into multicolors and many countries as the mystery has been listened to. And then testing the ideas and then asking for feedback, and that reflecting and refining and repeating this process again and again and again and again, making sure that it's full of, as best we can, as another friend has been bringing up, so that it's meaningful, that it has heart and meaning, and that makes sure that the energy is there. Angela Sarian would say in her work around the second half of life is that in the second half of life, our work needs to have heart and meaning, because that's what feeds it. That's where the energy comes. In the earlier part of our life, we can muscle through, and it's probably really good. We could do jobs that we might not really have wanted to do, but somehow we had the energy for them. And so when we look for what has heart and meaning, we are fed, and the work becomes our joy, to quote our friend on this call. So as we talked about last week, I hope that you have been working on your SMART goals. So what are things that you want to try? How to make them specific and measurable, making sure they're achievable, being kind to yourself, and that they're relevant to your vision, and as well assuring that they're time bound, so that it gives you that little bit of impetus to make sure that things are happening. Please, in your personal leadership plan, include goals that aren't just about work, but about other areas of your life that are going to support and sustain you. I know that a number of us have had a rough couple of years, and we may want to make sure that we've got self-care and collective care goals in our personal leadership plans. What would fill you up? What would take care of that internal bucket and start filling it with the energy that you need once again? So I want to make sure, as we talked about early on with the Johari window, is that as we expand our public windows, it's always good for us. And I wanted to make sure that you had time, again, to reflect on some of this. So, and to be witnessed. So I'm going to put you into groups of 3 this time. Won't be for long, but what is calling? What are next steps? Where do you want to practice? I want to make sure you have a little crowdsourcing opportunity here. We were doing some of that before the call started, and it is amazing how desperately interconnected we are, and how there is potential opportunities. So I'm going to put you again into groups of 3, and in this, share what are some of the goals that you're developing. What might be a prototype or prototypes that you have, and support each other around what might support each other in moving things forward. Here I go again. I'm going to and go back. We'll see if I share the screen properly, see if it works. Are you seeing? It's good. Thank you, Brad. Okay, thank you, John. All right. So continuing on, going back to the personal leadership plan. Patricia already asked this question, but I'm going to go back to it again. I love it. It's perfect setup. Is that your personal leadership plan as you know, has your introduction in it, where you've talked about your leadership journey. You're going to talk, you've got your code of conduct or values, you've got your vision statement, you've been working on your goals, you've got your personal SWOT analysis that we started at the beginning, and I hope that you've been adding to over the weeks. And I wanted to talk about those last two pieces of the plan that I'm hoping that you will complete before you send it to me here soon. So the legacy, or really your leadership brand, how do you want to be remembered, and the conclusion. And we're going to do a little work together on the conclusion to make it a bit easier. So your leadership brand, or how you'd like to be remembered, or your legacy is, thinking about how you wish to lead. A way that you can write it is to think of an attribute, that you want people to remember. Oh, I remember, as they talk about, how do they talk about Lulu? Oh, compassion. And then what that compassion might look like. So you can put an attribute and then write a description for each, just like you did with your values. Or you can write it in paragraph form. For some people, it feels better, but feel free to be creative as well. You can write it in any way, shape, or form. We were talking earlier about theater. It can be a scene from your life. It could be our obituary. How do you want that to be? And that goes below that, as you saw, your SWOT analysis. And for me, it's a way for me to think about what would authentic leadership look like for me. If I'm really showing up as I am, how might I be remembered, or how do I want to be remembered? The conclusion. I like to say that the conclusion is one of the most important sections of the document. So often we think, okay, now I just need to tell them what I told them and be done. But with the personal leadership plan, our conclusion is a place of integration. We've been on this journey together for the last 7 weeks, and we started in a certain place. And the nature of change and your full engagement in this experience has brought us all to new places. I know I am in a new place as a result of spending these wonderful 7 weeks with you. So it is a gift to integrate what has happened. And a way that we can do that is we're going to do, if you don't mind, a journaling exercise together. Then we'll do some reflection on that journaling exercise to start that process of the conclusion. For those of you who have done any work around service learning, it's a teaching strategy where not only are you teaching, I think, as Brad, you were talking about organizational development, service learning is a great methodology, right? So I'm teaching about leadership, and then we're asking the students to go out and practice and try. And then the important piece of it is to then reflect on the experience so that we integrate what happened. So we use the ORID model, which is observation, reflection, insights, decisions. And again, I find it just to be a really great journaling tool. So what I would love for you to do, I'll describe it, and then I'm going to give you some time to journal. So I'm hoping everyone has pen and paper handy. But first, we've been together over these past 7 weeks, and so observing kind of what happened on the outside. How would you describe what you've experienced and learned over the past 7 weeks? What do you not want to forget? So, I might use an example of, as I've gotten to learn about each of you and learning what you do, and some of those highlights of these last 7 weeks, I'm going to be writing about that. So what happened on the outside? Observation. And always nice to look at, what do I not want to forget? Adult learners, this is kind of how we remember stuff. and integrate it and use it in the future. And then R in the ORID model stands for reflection, is looking internally, like what emotions have arisen. I'm appreciating how someone was just sharing about that going, okay, I'm done. I'm bored. I don't have any more to learn. So that would be an example of reflection. What has been happening on the internal landscape as well. And seeing that is also important information and clues. From there, we go observation, reflection, and then what insights or ahas are resulting from us all rowing together. And last, what decisions or commitments is D, are you making as a result? So I'm going to give you 8 minutes to journal on this. Again, just helping you write your conclusion and foster integration of all this amazing material that you've been taking in and bringing forward in our groups. Recording. Don't know if the sharing screen. Oh, well, yeah, I've done it. All good? Thank you. All right. So one of the other ways that we integrate is this practice of closing well. And again, I brought Angela's into this course from the very beginning, but she would always, at the end of her intensive workshops, she would call us to close well. And what was a gift as I was studying at the University of Creation Spirituality and starting to work with students from the Islamic world, I learned that this practice is deeply embedded in the Islamic tradition. So when we leave one another, is this practice of extending gratitude, is to do any rectification work. Is there anything that we may want to apologize for something that we did or maybe that we didn't do, and any commitments that we want to make. And it's a little tricky because if we were in person, I would just have us rotating around the room, practicing this with one another, doing a gratitude walk. But I think we can do this in our in the chat. And you can either do it in chatting to everyone or direct messaging someone if you wish. And for example, I want to say that I can't tell you how grateful I am that I've gotten to work with you for the last 7 weeks. I was worried that I had overcommitted and thought this was the thing that I probably should have said no to. And I am so incredibly glad I said yes. I have, just adore this group and getting to know each and every one of you and feeling such great respect for all of you. You call me to my best and watch my back. And I also want to say I apologize if there's anything that I might have said that would be offensive, or there's something that you wished from me that I didn't do. And I ask if you would please, if there's resources that you wanted or something that you were hoping that I covered, I ask that please reach out to me, and I make a commitment to doing my best to provide those resources to you. And to hopefully send you a Mighty Networks invitation soon, and that we can continue to be committed to connected with one another. So that is my integration. But again, feel free in the chat, or you can come off mute, or you can direct message someone, whatever feels comfortable, but allowing us to practice closing well and further integrating this experience. Thank you. Thank you, Judy, so much. Oh, thank you, Charlie. Thank you all.
I didn't know what to expect from the class, and I wasn't sure that it would actually suit me, my needs at this time. And the reason I started the first class because I loved Matthew's book, Original Blessings, and that for me was it just was wonderful. This has been even more, I mean, the first class was wonderful, but this class has really, I was told some of the other groups, I had been dealing with anger and frustration and of not being change in my life and everything. And it's just so much of it's gone away. I am resting better. I feel better about life in general. And I think it's because I've been around such positive, uplifting people. I think that is what I was needing so badly.
Oh, thank you, Kathy, so much. Oh, I feel the same way. Oh, so great. And thank you, Mel and Lulu. Yeah. Oh, this is so great. And Lynn and Patricia.
I'd just like to say how grateful I am that the timing worked so well so that I could join in personally, because being able to talk to you all and have those conversations and that encouragement and being with like-minded people has been such a joy and a blessing for me. So I'm just really appreciative of whatever the maneuvers were to have these classes at this particular time, and I'm thanking everyone for joining at the end of their day so that I could join at the beginning of my day.
Yay. Well, we're so glad it worked out. It's just such a gift. Yeah. And I asked for this time because I'm working during the day, so it was a bit selfish, and also honoring that other people might be working, Linda, not even knowing that we were going to be lucky enough to have you with us. So I'm so glad it worked out. Such a gift. Oh, yay. Oh, thank you all so much. Brittany, thank you. And Patricia and Roxanne. Oh, yay. Oh, and Brad. And Ronnie. Yay. Oh. Oh. So we're in our final 10 minutes together. I wanted to, I know, it's like, oh, no. I wanted to leave you with a few quotes. It just reminds me of you. I don't think I've shared these. I had these hidden away a few classes ago, and I wanted to bring them forward. For the good man to realize that it's better to be whole than to be good is to enter on a straight and narrow path, compared to which his precious rectitude was flowery license. And love is not a doctrine. Peace is not an international agreement. Love and peace are beings who live as possibilities in us. Use your senses. Open your eyes, your ear, your smeller. I love how she says that. Your taste buds, your skin, your throat, your heart, your blood, your intercease. Listen. If we listen, we will not have to ask. If we listen, we will find ourselves at the center of the entertainment. It just reminded me of all of you and the work that you're doing and your willingness to fully show up. I want to pass those along. So our final steps together, and I wanted to answer any questions if you had them, is to email your personal leadership plan as your final paper to me within the next week or so. And then expect comments from me by mid-June or earlier. The sooner you get them to me, the sooner I'll get after them. And as I said, I will consider it a conversation that we're having with each other, and I will add comments throughout and suggestions, and probably, lots of affirmation as well. I want to encourage you to attend the new cosmology course. That's the next one coming up with the amazing Penny Andrews. Some of you know her. She's your friend. She's on the Creation Spiritualities board and deeply involved in the Deep Time Network and Creation in Crisis. So she will be leading us through the new cosmology. And I hope that you're able to do that. What's wonderful is that she too wants to do this 4 p.m. Specific Pacific time class, but hers will be on Tuesdays. And I hope that our final step will be to keep in touch with our well-being team. So that's what I have. Are there questions for me? Anything else that's coming up? Mel, anything that I should be adding?
No, I think you've done a great job. I really appreciate your doing this, Deidre, and for letting me sit in on it, witness all this great work that's being done. A flyer did go out about the new cosmology course. I discovered that not everybody got it, so we'll be sending it out some more, and hopefully you'll get it.
Oh, wonderful! Is anything that
it's on the website also.
Okay, good. On the website. And then I know, Mel, you were also sending out information about the certification. Is there any details that you'd like to share about that?
No, not at the moment, thank you.
Okay. So Mel is our registrar and is working on making sure that all of the pieces of the puzzle are put together for the certificate. As I think all of you know, Mel for many years was the dean of the graduate school at the University of Creation Spirituality, and took wonderful care of all of us. And so we are all in very good hands as we bring this certificate program forward. Oh, well, my dears, okay, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to pause the recording.